Hello and welcome to my latest vintage YouTube video. Today I'm gonna talk about vintage Belcher and how it's been doing in year 2016 and evolved since 2014-2015. Short introduction to the deck is that when Goblin Char Belcher was printed, it has ever since been a fringe deck in vintage. In 2004, Michael Sinister finished second at Vintage Champs with a Belcher list, and later in 2014, so actually 10 years later, it was being popularized again by Randy Buehler, who played it in MTGO Vintage Champs, finishing second, and also played it in Vintage Super League. So the deck Belcher gets its name from the namesake card Goblin Char Belcher. And what Belcher decks do are they are really fast combo decks. They try to be the fastest combo deck in the format. They try to get a huge mana advantage, put lots of mana on the table, and resolve a game-winning spell or combo faster than any other deck in the format. Usually the card is Goblin Char Belcher, but in the past we have seen cards like Empty the Warrens and Mind's Desire be a win condition also. And at this point there is no stock list, no net deck that you can just look up and see how you should build your Belcher list. I think it's mainly because Belcher is not a strategy that gets a lot of attention. There aren't that many players who are working on the deck list, working on the philosophy, or at least they are not vocal about it and haven't had too many results in the past few years. And therefore players might have be difficult looking any other than finding any other deck list than the deck list that Randy Buehler played a few years ago. But here I'm gonna show you some deck lists from this year and point out some differences between the different takes on the strategy. And first I'm gonna show you a blue Belcher list. This is by Damien Mayer. He played this deck to top 8 finish in Buzzer Mox and NSC main event in May. And this is a really close version of the Randy Buehler's Mono Blue Belcher list. It has, as a win conditions, it runs 4 Goblin Char Belcher, 2 Tesseract the Seeker and 1 Mind's Desire. And it has Leyline of Anticipation in the sideboard. And the biggest evolution the Belcher deck has gone through in the past few years is definitely Leyline of Anticipation. A card called Days Undoing was printed in 2015 in Magic Origins set. And here I'm gonna show you a next deck list, which is Leyline Belcher by David Yepes. So what David Yepes did is he put Leyline of Anticipation in the main deck and was able to run Days Undoing. So actually, where before the deck only had one Time Twister, now the deck actually has 5 Time Twisters because Days Undoing is so close to Time Twister with Leyline of Anticipation in the main deck. It's not a functional reprint of Time Twister by any means, but Leyline of Anticipation helps you to play it like it actually was just a Time Twister. And so this deck list is splashing red also for Wheel of Fortune and uses Simian Spirit Guide to get more mana on the table. This deck list also happens to have a balance on the sideboard because it plays 4 Mox Opal and 1 Lotus Petal, so and also 1 Mox Pearl. So it has enough white mana to support it. I have been running a similar list than this. I have played about 8 dailies this year with this deck list, and this is my take on the strategy. I call it Days Undoing Belcher. And this deck list splashes both red and black. As you can see, I have got down to only 2 Goblin Char Belchers, and I've even moved Tesseract the Seeker to the sideboard. But the reason that I've been able to cut down to 2 Goblin Charbelchers is that I run Demonic Tutor in the deck, and I have Dak Fadens and Notion Thieves that I splash, which give me a different routes to victory in different matchups. This deck list now has so many draw 7s compared to the previous versions, Blue Belcher versions, that it's possible to drop down to two Goblin Charbelchers. And what I forgot to say about in the beginning is that all these Belcher lists still run Time Vault Voltaic Key combo, of course, as an additional win con. And the next picture I'm going to show you is the different draw 7s at Belcher lists. Just like I was saying a few minutes ago, Blue Belcher list in the past only were able to play 5 to 6 draw 7s, and they had to play a card called Diminishing Returns, which was sometimes a liability in your deck because it could accidentally exile your win conditions. But with the printing of Leyline of Anticipation, the deck list is able to implement Days Undoing to the deck list, and also Splashing Red allows you to play Wheel of Fortune. So now it's pretty easy that the deck list can run 8 draw 7s, which none of them are Diminishing Returns. So Time Twister, Windfall, 4 times Days Undoing, Wheel of Fortune, and Memory Jar. This gives you enough opportunities to dig through your deck and really draw what you need from the list. And that's how the deck list has been evolving in the past few years. I cannot underline enough how important Leyline of Anticipation Days Undoing has been to the deck. The Blue Belcher list is still very viable, like we see how Damien Mayer did it with it in Bazaar of Moxen. But in addition, we now have the package and the opportunity to play Days Undoing and have more draw 7s in the deck list. So there is kind of 2 different takes on Belcher lists this year, but actually there is also a third deck list which I'm gonna show you next. And this deck list is called Storm Belcher by Nicolas Bujon. He played this deck list in a GB Tokyo side event and won it. And this is really different than the other Belcher lists I've seen in the past few years. This is kind of a throwback to the old Empty the Warrens, Goblin Charbelcher decks or deck lists. And as you can see, this deck list is really different. It plays Taiga, it plays Tropical Island. It doesn't play Tolarian Academy because it has so little blue spells in it. It doesn't have Force of Will, it doesn't have Pact of Negation. Instead, it has this strong red theme in it, and it has finishers like Storm Entity in it. So I haven't playtested this deck yet. I have it built on MTGO, but I haven't had time to playtest it on how viable it is, what are its pros and cons compared to Blue Belcher or Days Undoing Belcher. But this seems like a fun deck list, and thumbs up for Nicolas Bujon making a great finish with this kind of a deck list. Yeah, so here we see 3 different Belcher decks in Vintage in 2016. It's not a tier 1 deck. With the Goblin Charbelcher, there's always huge variance that you have to count. But it's a fun deck to play, and it can really have. It's not unusual to have a turn 0 or turn 1 wins with the deck. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video and would like to support the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. If I understand correctly, I need 100 subs to be able to change the channel name. Right now the channel name is just my Google Plus name, because YouTube and Google Plus are linked somehow, I don't know. But hitting that 100 subs would be ideal, because I think then I'm able to change my channel name. Also, please feel free to give me any feedback on my videos. Next up, I will upload some matches from the European Vintage League Season 1 if we can actually get it running. Thank you for watching, and have a nice holidays.